This video serves as your notes and how-to for adding integers. Integers are just numbers, negative infinity to infinity, so including your negative numbers and your positive numbers. Today we're going to focus on just adding them. This is also your assignment for today, so this will serve as instructions on how to complete that. There are 3 different ways that we're going to look at how to add integers, and you can kind of choose whichever strategy works the best for you. First strategy is you can use counters. So basically you can compare how many positives you have to how many negatives you have, and that will help give you your overall. The way you're going to complete this slide is you're going to use these counters over here to help you answer over here. You're going to have to copy and paste them because there's not enough. So if we're doing the first one together, I have 3 negatives. So I'm going to drag and drop. I'm also going to copy, paste, paste. So there are my 3 negative counters. Then I have 6 positives. So I'm going to drag, and drag, and drag until I have 6. And it looks like I won't have to copy and paste. It's just going to keep making them, so that's good. If you ever do run out, you'll just copy and paste. So 1 more of these. So then I have 3 of my negatives and 6 of my positives. Line them up and they will cancel each other out, right? They create a 0 because a positive and a negative are opposites. So if these cancel, that leaves me with 1, 2, 3 positives. I type my answer in this box provided. Your answer is plus 3. So that's how you complete that slide. You can use counters to create zeros, and whatever is left over is your answer. Another strategy we can use is number lines. So moving one direction and then the other direction depending on what it says. So for instance, this says use a number line to find the sum. This one starts at -5. So that's right here. So I'm going to take probably one of these longer arrows and put it 0 to -5. So here's where I'm at. And then it says to add 3. So I'm going to take this middle size guy, and we can resize these if they don't fit perfectly, and drag him so that he starts at -5 and goes forward. Let's see, 1, 2, perfect. 1, 2, 3. So here is where we land, -2. So I'm going to type my answer here, just like on the first slide, -2. So that's how number lines work. If it says plus a negative, that just means go in the negative direction. The last one is just to think more mathematically. So we've got 2 definitions down here for rules, using rules. If we're adding 2 numbers that have the same sign, so 2 positive numbers together or 2 negative numbers together, that one is easy. We're going to use this rule. I'm going to drag it and put it up here. Add the absolute values of each number and keep the sign. So absolute value just means ignore whether it's positive or negative and just put those numbers together. So if I'm looking at number 1, -6 and -7, those have the same signs. So I'm going to add the absolute values. So that's 6 and 7. Add those together. 6 and 7 is 13. And then it says keep their signs. Well, they were both negatives, so that means it's a -13. So I'm going to take -13 and drag and drop it into that box. So you just look at the numbers, 6 and 7, put them together, and then because they were both negatives, the answer gets that negative. It gets a little trickier if they are different signs, meaning a positive and a negative. Here's our rule for that. So I'm going to drag and drop it into the rule. And it says subtract the absolute values from each other and keep the sign of the number with the larger value. So if I'm looking at 6 and -7, you take whatever one is bigger, whatever number without a sign is bigger. In this case, that's 7. And we subtract. 7 minus 6 is 1. So my answer is going to be 1, but is it going to be +1 or -1? Well, it says to keep the sign of the number with the larger absolute value. That's going to be this -7. So my answer is 7 minus 6, which was 1, but because the 7 is larger and a negative, I'm going to keep the sign, so it is -1. So those are 3 different strategies you can use to help you add integers, as well as some examples for when you're completing today's assignment.